All right, hey traders, this is a quick midday session update for Monday the 26th from the Tribeca Trade Group. I'll start with today's option flow. By the way, it's about 11:30, so 2 hours after the open. And there's not that much going on in terms of option flow, right? You would think with the market up this much, which I think is not a market tell, but you want to see buyers step back in to kind of to chase a little bit the green. We've got right now we've got SPY up about 1.2%. We've got the Qs up 1.6%. I'm going to look at the technicals on them in just a second. But on days like this, you want to see buyers start to come back in and feel a little bit better. Because chasing down here, after a big move down, I don't think is that big of a deal. So we're going to talk about strategies for the day. Also, just want to talk about these technicals. Really, once we start to look at these short-term trends, right, we're going to have to see the turn on the short-term trend and taking a look at first, right? And then we could look back at the daily chart. But, it's going to happen and right in front of you, looking at some shorter time frames to see what's going to happen. And, things like last week's high, what I'm looking at right here is the 1 hour value area, right? So this is the value area that's going to be active all week. 2670, or this is an S&P futures. If you don't look at S&P futures and you look at SPY, I'm happy to give you a level there. That's 267.17, right? That's going to be a change in trend. Again, short-term trend, but Rome wasn't built in a day. The first thing that we want to watch is the short-term trend to be broken. So that's 267.17. Notice that we haven't been able to do that. We hit right smack in the top of value, so we're not doing that yet. And again, that's a level that you could jot down and write for the whole week. Qs, same thing. They're at the top of value too. Call it 162 is a level that has to break. That's last week's high. So again, very instrumental here because I'm not really chasing the move today. I'm kind of observing. I've got a small watch list. I've got some names that I went long into last week. I'm long a bit of emerging markets, so things like BABA. FXI, I'm long a little bit, thinking that emerging markets are going to start to outperform a little bit. So Qs, we're basically right back to the open. So if you didn't chase, you don't want to overtrade. And for me, for swing trading, right, the best signals come at the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day. We don't know we don't know what the candle's going to look like. And the other thing regarding trying not to chase and overtrade right now, there's plenty. Like if we're going to change trend here and have a sustained bounce, there's plenty of upside, right? I mean, things have broken down significantly. So I'm going to miss the first maybe 2-3% from the lows for confirmation purposes. For the overall, for the overall indices. That's just is what it is. But I would rather be confident that that low is in and that we've got confirmation that institutional buyers are coming back into this market rather than, add positions on the highs and, the market gets the rug pull again. So again, that's just the way how I'm functioning. Last one, I want to look at IWM. IWM is up 1.1%. So again, we're right around midday. If we go to the 1 hour bar, you're going to see what I'm talking about again. This is the only U.S. major indice that is above value on the 1 hour. And notice it's coming back and retesting here. So right around 149.50 is the level that I want to see hold. And you could see we're starting to sell off again. So, great job if you didn't come in and really chase. I mentioned a small watch list. What am I watching? I'm watching things like Square. Square is trying to recapture the 200-day moving average. I think that is going to be instrumental. Like that's a name that I like and a name that I would want to buy on a dip. So yeah, I mean this looks a little bit different than the overall averages. BABA is a name that I got long. Trim the position, still have some position, but it is first things first. It is above value, which is nice, but it has not taken out last week's highs yet, or maybe this is last week's highs. This is from 2 weeks ago, so that would be nice. It does look pretty constructive if we manage to close up here on the daily chart. Even though we haven't taken out this level, as long as I think we're above the 50-day moving average, that's good enough for me. For that, and a couple other names I'll kind of walk us through here is Amazon. Amazon is pushing towards the bottom of value on the daily, so it's kind of caught in between two value areas. It's above value. 1541 is the bogey here for Amazon. Also notice that we're coming upon last week's bottom of value, something that we could even get close to. So that's just a few names. Option activity, a little bit of buying in Citigroup. Again, there's not much. A little bit of EWZ calls going up, tiny bit of Netflix as well. Couple small orders I think in the casinos as well, which are continue to follow what China does. You can see Win as well on the 1 hour chart. So that's the main thing that I'm watching today is if the bounce can hold, right? I mean, we've seen this for the last 3 weeks. It's been more of the sell the rip mentality. The bounces have not been hold. They've been very lethargic. They just really haven't had a lot of pop to them. So, I'm content with like I said, it's 11:30 now. I'm content to see how this goes. We've got a lot of events this week, so that makes it more tricky. Because it's tough, I think, for the market to really have a sustained move ahead of these. Ahead of these events, because put yourself in the shoes of institutions. Do you really want to be buying into it before a G20 meeting when you don't know what's going to happen? So I think it'll be tough. I think today was a great bounce, and you could take profits if you kind of had some longs going into this week that were underwater a little bit. Maybe you got out for some profits this morning, and then you can regroup. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.